What up, Facebook? Shout out to all my followers and whoever's viewing this, you know what I mean? Man, I just got a lot on my brain right now, but I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. First, I'm gonna start off with police brutality that's going on, racial profiling, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? I found myself doing it too. Whenever these incidents happen, we stop at the police officer. You know what I'm saying? Like, the police officer did this. They're guilty. They're not guilty, whatever the case may be. But I feel that we're not holding the right people accountable. We're not going up the right chains. You know what I mean? To the right channels to get the right change. You dig what I'm saying? Like, for example, you go to McDonald's and you get bad service from one employee. Or let's say you get food poisoning. You know what I mean? The food was served to you by a certain employee, whatever the case may be. You don't sue that employee, you sue McDonald's, right? Maybe a bad example. For example, your child now. You have a disruptive child. The child is going to be held accountable for his responsibilities at school or whatever authorities get in touch with him. But who else is responsible? The parents, right? So I say in the same regards, the police department needs to be held responsible. Not just the police officer. Like, you always talk about the police officer. It needs to be the person that's responsible for training. You know what I mean? Who's their superiors? Obviously, whoever their superiors is not. You know what I mean? Like, our job is to keep our children in line, our employees in line, and so forth and whatnot. But they're not doing that job. They're not doing the job effectively, if you ask me. They're not training them They're not training them effectively, if you ask me. You ever hear a whole bunch of officers after they commit the crime or they defend themselves? They said that they were scared and this, that, and the third. You're not supposed to be operating off of fear. You're not supposed to be operating off of fear. You're supposed to be following procedure. You know what I mean? You got little dudes like me being detained by like 5 officers, and they're saying, "Oh, he's fighting." You're supposed to be trained to deal with an irate individual. You're supposed to be able to, you know what I'm saying, be able to detain the individual. Not even not only by yourself, but at least 5 officers. You're supposed to be able to deal with an individual without killing them, man. You're supposed to be able to do that. You're supposed to have the tactics and the proper training to subdue an individual that's irate or violent even. You know what I mean? The UK, they use no guns over there. Not even the police officers don't use guns, and if they do, it's certain divisions or a certain task force or whatever the case may be. I'm not too familiar with it, but I know that there's ways to combat crime, violence, and all that without killing people. So in saying that, I say this: there's obviously, clearly, a mandate being set, you know what I mean, by the police department. It's not even just the police officers, man. These police officers, they got kids and families too, right? So they must feel there's some type of security in the way that they're moving. They must feel like they got, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they ain't gonna be throwing themselves out the window just like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would they be doing that? Jeopardizing their freedom as well. But they don't feel like they're jeopardizing their freedom. They're not gonna be jeopardizing their income, but it seems like they don't feel like they're jeopardizing that either. So we need to be holding the people, the right people, accountable, man. And I think it's more than just these officers. It's the people that train them. It's the people that reprimand them. It's the people that hire them. You know what I mean? We need to start going at the roots. And all of the time you're talking about, especially here in Toronto, you know what I mean? Gun violence. But I never hear them launch no investigation on where these guns are coming from. Because these young fellas ain't making these guns themselves. We don't got gun license. You know what I'm saying? They're being filtered through the streets one way or the other. You know what I mean? So, like, all I'm trying to say is, like, we gotta really look deeper, man. Like, we can keep on saying officers, and see no change, or we can start going to the right source. You know what I mean? Which is the root, which is the people that's hiring them, the people that's training them. You know what I mean? And the people that's initiating these mandates. So, yo, man, let's hold the right people accountable. And stand up for what we believe in, man, because there's too many losses. I got a son, man, and the day that I hear my son being dealt with like this, I guarantee, I promise, that's the day I lose my mind, you know what I mean? And God forbid, you know what I mean? I pray protection around my family, around myself, you know what I mean? But the day, like, I'm only human, man. After that, I really and truly, I live for my kids. I mean, I kind of put this music thing on pause for my kids. If anybody want to, what happened to Black Sage with his music? My kids, they come first, you know what I mean? And when it comes down to hip-hop music, the culture, the type of music that people gravitate to when it comes down to hip-hop, it's rebellious music, you know what I mean? And for me to be pushing rebellious music and all that, it kind of goes against what I'm trying to teach my kids, you know what I mean? But now they're at the age where they can understand a little more, you know what I mean? I'm dibbling and dabbling back into it, and I don't know, I'm still messing with it, but whatever, man. I'm just saying, we need to hold the right people responsible. And we got to fight for what we believe in, man. Stand up for what we love, you know what I mean? I love my family, I love my kids to death, and that's word, you know what I mean? So I'd rather die for something than nothing, you know what I mean? So I don't think I'm gonna stop speaking my mind. I don't think I'm gonna stop. What's the word, man? Putting the truth out there, you know what I mean? Out of fear, I can't do that because silence is only going to perpetuate the same thing, you know what I mean? So, in saying this, like I said, man, let's hold the right sources accountable and let's make some change around here, man. We got kids to be responsible for. We got kids to create a better world for. Put it that way, you know what I mean? I heard Tupac said in the interview, he was like 17 when he did the interview, and he's kind of scared because the adults, the generation before him, is leaving the world in a bad condition. Like it's in terrible shape, and the responsibility is on our generation to clean it up. And it's like, the question is now, when Tupac made that statement, was society, our environment, our situation better or for worse? I don't know, it's just a question you gotta think. When Tupac said that, you know what I mean, that the adults left the world in bad shape, you know what I mean? That was what, 20 years ago? So 20 years later, has the world progressed or regressed? I don't know, you tell me, man. But if you were to ask me, I'll say, yo, really and truly, it's worse than it was. You got Donald Trump running for president. Like, seriously, it's not even a joke. Like, 20 years ago, that would have been a joke. Like, you would have seen it on A Living Color or some type of sitcom or some shit. That would have been a joke, but this is real. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got racial profiling, you know what I'm saying? Freaking police brutality, open racism, 20 years later. And I'm just talking about from when Pop made that statement. So, where are we really heading? Where are we going? And what are we really doing, man? What are you really living for? What are you really fighting for, man? Let's make some change. I don't want to hear my son saying, yo, we left the world in a bad predicament. Even if we did, I want him to say, yo, but Dad, I know you tried. You know what I'm saying? Mom, I know you tried. I know you tried. You know what I'm saying? Let's do our part. And that's the only way anything's going to change, man. This whole situation that happened in the States is unfortunate. But best believe it's happening here in Toronto, man. The police departments over here just, not even, I wouldn't even say the departments. There's individuals in every department that's corrupt, man. There's some police officers that are very corrupt, man. Like, yo, man, what happened to my homie the other night, man? I'm going to stop right there, man. But, yo, just realize that this shit is a global problem. You know what I mean? It needs to be addressed ASAP, man. Let's hold the right sources accountable. It's not only the officers, the people that recruit them, train them, and reprimand them, you know what I'm saying? And these lawyers, like, you gotta hold everybody accountable, man. It doesn't stop at these officers, man. Alright, so you already know it. Leave your comments, repost, or don't. You know what I mean? But just take what I'm saying, and hopefully this sparks some type of change in one way, form, or fashion. If anybody got any type of advice, you know what I mean, or some type of knowledge or wisdom that I could work with and implement to my life, you know what I'm saying? Even implement onto my page or put out there to the world, man, to affect some change. Let me know, cause this is crazy, man. I feel like I'm a part of the problem if I don't do something or say something. You know what I mean? So let's affect some change, man. Let's take responsibility, man. We the leaders now. You know what I mean? We all grown, 30 odd to So who else but us? You know what I mean? Thank you for your time, man.